Good morning, everyone. We have got an interesting show today. Just listen to the topics. GTA is going to return to my content sooner rather than later. Cool. We have a worldwide systems outage thanks to an oopsie update from a security firm and is causing havoc everywhere. Wow. The Federal Trade Commission is about to go haywire on Microsoft for apparently violating the terms of their Activision Blizzard acquisition because they are raising the prices of Game Pass. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff going on to talk about today in the world, and I'm very excited to cover that for you on today's show. Oh, by the way, today is also a new release day. And who knows what this game is about because no one seems to know. So, we got a heck of a show lined up for you on today's Level 1 podcast. Alrighty, everyone. So welcome to the show. Today is Friday, the 19th of July, 2024. I'm DSP. This is Jasper Cat. And today, we have many things to discuss. So shall we? Oh man. I want to talk about yesterday's streams, first of all, to try to get a hold of what's going on. I want to talk about a huge positive update in regards to DSP Throwback that I think you guys will enjoy, and more. So, here we go. Let's talk about everything. First of all, just so you guys know, new game today in Kunitsu-Gami, Path of the Goddess. A game that everyone keeps asking, what is it? And no one can really answer because, from what we're to understand, it actually is kind of original. It doesn't really fit the mold of many or any modern video games. And that's a good thing, I feel, because we have too many games that just feel too samey. They all copy each other. They all try to fit into a certain genre. And it sounds like Kunitsu-Gami is actually trying to do something different. It's Game Pass. So today, the mainstream is going to be checking this out, experimenting with it, seeing if we like it. Right, Jasper? Do you like Kunitsu-Gami? We don't know yet. We haven't played it. And basically, we're going to attempt to see if it's something that we like, me and you. That's not just me. It's you as well. And if it's something that we would like to continue to play moving forward, or if it's just a one-off. Like, I'm totally okay with either. We could keep playing it if it's good, or we could play it once, experiment with it, and if it's not something for us, then we can move on and do other stuff. But I feel like it's definitely worth a shot, since it seems like something unique, and it seems like, you know, it's on Game Pass. Why not give it the old college try, as they say? So today is most definitely an experiment of sorts, and I hope that you will stick around after the podcast ends for us to check out this game. Also, keep in mind that later tonight, we are doing a special Street Fighter 6 Friday Night Fights. It is not ranked play with Bison for the first time in, like, what, a month? Pretty much, almost. Instead, I'm going to be doing a lobby challenge against Brian, you know, top tier rated over on Twitch. I've done 2 of these before, and this is the 3rd one we're doing. And it should be good. It should have a variety of characters. And it should be a lot more variety and different stuff than just Bison. Okay? As you know, me playing Street Fighter 6 lately has been incredibly frustrated. We're going to talk about that on the stream today. Because I honestly don't know how to fix it. Because it seems like it's Capcom's problem. Not mine. But we'll talk about that. So, yeah. So I hope you'll come back tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, as I do this special challenge lobby, which should be extra fun to see the variety of characters return. You know, I'll be using all of my characters tonight, not just Bison, for the first time in like a month. So, hopefully you will come and join us for that tonight, okay? Good stuff. Now, if you're wondering what else is coming this week, tomorrow, it's going to be the probable conclusion of Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. I'm going to continue trying to kill the final boss. I am using this now bleed build, and I'm going to see if I can improve it or do something better with it, because right now I don't think it's good enough, but we'll see. Tomorrow night is the likely conclusion of Riven Remake. Sunday, of course, is React Day, where we do all my React content on the DSP Reacts and DSP Throwback channels, including the clip show, DSP versus the Internet, and then the conclusion of my Retro React event for Dark Souls 1. And then Monday is kind of the day that's a little bit weird. I think we'll bring back Fallout 4 on Monday on the day stream. And Monday night, we'll probably do Stardew Valley. But Tuesday, we could do Kunitsu-Gami. We could do something else, you know. It all depends. And there's a probability something else may happen. Because right now, if you guys aren't aware, it's EVO weekend, meaning there's a ginormous tournament in Las Vegas right now for fighting games. And Capcom is there showing off the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, which is supposed to release sometime this year. But the weird thing about that is the ESRB rated it a few days ago. And when the ESRB rates a game, it usually means that game is about to drop any day. There's been times when the ESRB rates a game and within a day it drops digitally. So, excuse me. Sorry, my allergies are bad today. I woke up with all this gunk in my throat, and I was like, oh, man, it's disgusting, and nothing I can do about it. It's just allergies. It happens this time of year, okay? So, here's the thing. If the Marvel vs. Capcom collection does release over this weekend, okay, 100% I'm changing my schedule. I love the Versus series. I grew up playing them in arcades. These were the games that got me into competitive Street Fighter and playing in tournaments. I would be very happy to change my schedule around, okay, and basically play that collection for you over the course of the next week. That would be amazing. There's so many games in that collection that we can explore. You know, a couple aren't so competitive. For example, X-Men Children of the Atom. It's a very basic game and not very competitive. It's not very balanced. Marvel Superheroes is. X-Men vs. Street Fighter is not necessarily balanced, but everyone has an infinite and it's kind of broken. Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter is a fun game, but not a lot of people play that competitively. They moved right on to Marvel vs. Capcom 1, which actually I was one of the best in the world at when it was out and being played competitively, but I haven't played the game in like a decade, so I probably suck at it. And then Marvel 2, of course, is the big one. That's the one that everyone played for a whole decade. It was the game that kept people alive in competitive fighting circles and got the hype going. So it's going to be very exciting when that game comes out. I'm going to try to get it on PC. I have a new joystick to play on. So, yeah, if it does shadow drop this weekend, because everyone's kind of expecting it might, since it's already fully done and being shown at EVO and it got rated, it would make sense for it to release, like, right now. So, if it does, I will be playing it. So let's play it by you know, listen. Let's keep listening for our ear to the ground. If anyone knows if the announcement hits at EVO, oh, MVC is coming out or is out, let me know. Because it could change the schedule for the entire week. But right now it looks like Kunitsu-Gami, all right, the end of Elden Ring's DLC, Fallout 4 returning to the mix, some Street Fighter 6, and probably Stardew is what we're doing for the week. Okay? You know, I'm really ready for the announcement any moment that this collection is coming out, and then we got to change everything around. All right? Cool. Okay, so I hope that you're all excited for that. Let's talk about yesterday. Then I want to talk about GTA returning to my schedule and how interesting this is going to be on DSP Throwback. And then I want to talk about the news that's going on in the world right now, okay? So, first of all, yesterday, I did 2 streams yesterday. The first was Street Fighter 6 Ranked Play with Bison. The other was Stardew Valley. Let's tackle each of these in order. First of all, in typical fashion, all right, yesterday, I played Street Fighter 6 with M. Bison in Ranked. I thought that I did terribly, and I didn't. Again, what happens is I play and I have a bad time because of the matchups and the matchmaking is just so bad in this game that I end up kind of getting into this like this negative vibe and funk. And then it doesn't matter how well I play or how well I'm doing, I'm just disappointed. All right? So let me give you an example. Yesterday, for the first hour, I tried to play casual play. It was hard to do. Like, it was literally hard to do because I couldn't really find many matches, and the ones that I was finding weren't exactly the most variety, okay? So I played casual play for an hour, 14 wins, 11 losses, 56% win rate. Then I went to ranked play for 2 hours, and I'm not kidding you when I say this. You can watch the videos yourself if you don't believe me. 80+% of the matches I played were either Ken, Kami, or Akuma. Most of the matches you play ranked online at the master level are those three characters. And I hate to say it, the first match, all right. The second match, the third match, what the? The fourth match, come on. The fifth match, are you kidding me? The sixth match, this has got to be a joke. The seventh match, I don't want to play anymore. I've had enough. Here's what's happened with Street Fighter 6, which a lot of people may not understand. We're in a different era of fighting games now, okay? Back in the day, when you wanted to learn a fighting game, you had to go to an arcade, you had to go to your friend's house or a tournament, and you had to play people in person to learn tech. Meaning you would have a character you like, but you would basically have to sit there and play against other people to learn techniques with that character that worked. Maybe you would see someone better than you at an event, and you would try to grab some of their tech that you learned when you saw them playing. But for the most part, all right, you would have to learn by doing. Today, you learn by watching. You just go on YouTube, you go on a stream, and within a day of a game being out, the meta, meaning the high-end gameplay for each character, is already found and exposed and shared with the entire internet. So there is no more period of discovery when it comes to fighting games. Literally, when a new character's out, everyone knows all about them within 2 days, how to play as them and how to beat them. I'm sorry, but that's incredibly boring, all right? You are taking away the entire period of fun that's supposed to be part of the discovery process of a fighting game. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything that we can really do to change that. I'm just saying that's how things are now, all right? So in the case of Street Fighter 6, what's happened is this. As these characters come out and are released, the tech is revealed so quickly. People can just jump online, watch the videos, watch the streams, learn it, and then basically without any actual intelligent knowledge of how to play, understanding the game mechanics, whatever, they just memorize. They memorize a pattern. They memorize a flowchart. Muscle memory for this certain tactic that I just used. Do this attack, then this attack, then this attack, then this attack. Oh, when they hit the corner, you have three options. Do one of the three, then just do one of the three again, then just do one of the three again. It's basically a pattern with guessing. And what's happened now is that so many people have access to that data of that meta of a fighting game right away, they don't learn the game anymore. They literally learn that meta, and then they pick one character, and they go online, and they just play the game endlessly and think that they know what they're doing. They don't. They're idiots. But they actually believe that's what the fighting game is supposed to be, this pattern they memorized, rather than having, like, an intelligent thought in their head. So what's happened with Street Fighter 6 is people have discovered the top three characters in the game to play easy mode and memorize are Ken, Kami, and Akuma. That those three characters can literally have a flowchart that you memorize. And you could just execute it online and essentially get enough wins to hit Master and then stay around the 1500 point at Master level. There's no effort there. It's just, I took a textbook home, I studied the textbook, and then I just regurgitated the information from the textbook on the test. You don't actually understand what you're doing. You just memorized and regurgitated on a piece of paper, and you got an A. So that's what's happened with Street Fighter 6 Online. You've got people who don't want to try, don't want any creativity in their gameplay. They don't care. All they want to do is get some kind of feeling of self-worth by memorizing a repetitive pattern and just fucking copy-pasting it all over the internet in the ranked play. Now, you might say, gee, I wonder why this is a big deal. Well, take a look at someone like me. First of all, look at the characters that I've played. Okay? Lily, Honda, Zangief, Dalsim, Blanca. 5 oddball characters, none of which you can argue are top tier in this game, but man, are they unique and fun to play with. They're hard to play with, but they're fun to play with. By using them, I'm challenging myself to try to play in a unique way that's different than just memorizing a flowchart. You can't flowchart out those characters. It doesn't work, you see? And so when I face the flowcharts that don't understand fighting game mechanics and they beat me and I get frustrated, people are like, well, why don't you just memorize a flowchart yourself? Because I don't want to be brainless. I don't want Street Fighter to become a copy-paste for me. I want to have fun. I want my brain to actually be stimulated when I play the game by reacting to things going on, by adding in variety. I'll give you an example. With the M Bison that I am now using, okay? Have you noticed that I don't play like the other top players. I am implementing certain tactics and combos that they're using, but I'm also implementing my own tactics and combos as well. I'm using Head Stomp and Devil Reverse way more than the top players do because I'm trying to find effective ways to put that into my gameplay instead of just copying what they're doing. I'm actually doing a couple different combos that they don't use. Like I do a hit confirm with jabs, and if it hits, I drive rush, and I can do a jab medium into the hands. So now there's a mine on the enemy, and yeah, it meter burned a bit, but hey, it's an actual interesting hit confirm as opposed to what all the pros are doing, which is just a scissor kick and then just try to reset the stance. I'd rather get the hands on them. So this is what you do when you actually understand fighting games. You try to innovate, you try to learn, and you try to mix up or improve what you've seen. You don't just sit there and say, well, I just memorized what everyone else did. That's good enough for me. That is the state of master ranking in Street Fighter 6 right now. At least at the 1,500 to 1,600 point level, that's all you see. It's so rare to see someone not using one of these top 3 flowchart characters. It's boring as dirt. I'm sorry to say, it just is. It's super boring as dirt. It's not fun anymore to get to master, because as soon as you do, here comes Ken, Cammy, and Akuma playing exactly the same, and you just want to go to sleep. Because you know the person on the other end of that internet is not an intelligent human. That is someone who actually thinks that the size of their e-penis matters because they memorized someone else's strategy and they just copy-paste it on the internet. They're idiots. You know, and it's actually incredibly frustrating from someone like me coming from a background of understanding the competitive nature of fighting games to see how they've degraded so that the common person who doesn't understand fighters and isn't good can actually still hit master and get wins. Okay? So, yesterday, all right, I couldn't believe how bad that session was. The thing was, I was winning more than I was losing, but I didn't even know because I was so upset at how bad the situation was. Like, Ken, Cammy, Akuma, Ken, Cammy, Akuma. Dude, this is so not fun. I actually, by the end of the stream, I had 20 wins and 15 losses, and I had actually gained a few ranking points, but I was so upset, I pushed myself to do 2 more sets, which is literally the opposite of what I should have done. I thought I had learned my lesson back on Monday when I said at the end of my stream, no, I will not go for extra sets. But I went for extra sets, and of course, guess what? I lost. So I ended up losing a whole bunch of ranking points at the end of the stream because I wanted to get another set in, because I wanted to end on a good note. And of course, that was the stupidest thing I could have possibly done. I just should have ended when I was ahead. But again, I didn't know that I was ahead, right? So it's very frustrating for 2 reasons. Number one, I want to get better at Street Fighter. I want to push past this level, but I don't know if I can. I don't think I'm playing enough to basically be able to beat these meta patterns on a consistent basis. Oh, I did. I beat some Kens and I beat some Cammys yesterday and some Kumas. Don't get me wrong. I'm not losing every time that I play against these characters. It's just that every time you do, it's so boring because it's the same thing over and over. This reminds me of that tournament that El Chicote won with Lily. Did you know all his top 8 fights were like Luke? Like everyone was a Luke, a Luke, a Luke. So no one has a brain. They all just fucking pick Luke and do the same shit. Like, wow, what a boring tournament. And it's the same thing here. It's like, wow, what a boring session. I just got to keep fucking playing the same thing over and over, right? So, number one, I want to get better, but I don't know if I play enough to get better. Meaning, I would have to play so much more with Bison to basically say, now I know how to master and counter that pattern, right? But what's happening is it's kind of 50-50. Sometimes I beat them, sometimes I don't. The pattern is very strong. Again, it's like gambling where you roll. You don't have to be good. You just roll the dice and you guess. Should I throw? Should I go for a meaty combo? Should I neutral jump to bait because they're going to try to throw break? And it's a guess. And if they hit it, it's like winning the jackpot. Like, oh, I neutral jumped. Oh, wow, they actually tried to break a throw. Ginormous punish combo for 60% damage. I just won, 777. Give me the jackpot right now. I just won a Mercedes-Benz, For what? Because you just pressed up on the joystick, guessed. That's ridiculous. Didn't used to be like that in Street Fighter. No. Doesn't matter what people tell you. In old school Street Fighter, it wasn't, oh, I jumped once. Oh, I won the round because I guessed right. Never. Absolutely not. That's ludicrous that people would even say that. Okay? It was very different back in the day. So, basically, I don't know if I can get better at Street Fighter because I don't know if I'm putting in enough time. And you might already say, but you're already playing it like 3 times a week. You're right. But to beat that meta, because that meta is so strong, that flowchart meta is so strong, I'd probably have to, play play way more. Like I would say another couple weeks or more of just Bison in order to get good enough to just beat that meta. Seriously, it's that bad. It's that stupid. Okay? Do people want that? I don't know. Because judging off of yesterday, all right, we had less viewers than I usually do for Street Fighter. We actually had less than 400. I almost always have 400 for Street Fighter. I had less than 400 viewers, and the support was very, very low. And what I mean by that is we didn't even hit the tier 1 tip skull, not even close. So, super chats, memberships, I don't think I had a single membership yesterday all day, not a single new one. And super chats, just a small sprinkling. So basically, people are tired of this meta. They don't want to see me just fight the same shit over and over. Now, there were a few really good matches. There was a great Ed. We went back and forth. He beat me. I don't care. He was a good Ed. He deserves it. He's intelligent. I want to lose to smart players. There was actually a really good Jamie who got me. I was like, wow. And again, I'm having fun with those matchups, but I need to have more of them, and we can't make that happen. Capcom has to make that happen. They have to look at the base and say, wow, we fucked up. We made a game where it's so easy to play with these 3 characters. Everyone just plays them because they're simpletons, and now the online play sucks. We need to do something to like hit the reset button, change the way ranking works. Because the truth is, those people probably shouldn't be at Master. They should probably be in Diamond. And they only got to Master because they grinded and grinded and grinded. And the way this game works, the more you play, you're going to hit Master anyway, even if you suck. Even if you have a losing record, you'll still hit Master. It shouldn't be that way. You should only hit Master or whatever rank they want to call the higher ranks when you have a winning record. So you shouldn't have this situation right now. So I don't know what to do to fix this situation. If we keep playing online ranked, and it doesn't even matter if it's me playing Bison or not, any character who I play online ranked, we're going to be constantly facing the same 3 characters nonstop, and I can't fix that. That's a Capcom problem. That's not a DSP problem, right? So I can't make it more interesting. We're going to be facing the same shit over and over. I mean, let's be honest, even if I consistently beat it, it would still be boring. It's the same gameplay, ad nauseum, the same nonsense, right? So, I don't know what to do about Street Fighter right now. It's kind of like, I want to keep playing it. I'm definitely not dropping it, okay? There's no way I'm dropping it, all right? But, to me, I look at this and I'm like, I just don't know how I can approach it to make it more interesting for you. Do I play it less? Is it not working as daytime streams? Should Street Fighter be, night streams only? Like we were doing for the longest time? Should I go back to that formula and have other streams on the day streams? You know, I just don't know. So anyway, we got to talk about this because yesterday was a very disappointing stream. The truth is, I broke even. I had 20 wins, 20 losses in ranked, but that's because I lost like 5 in a row at the end of the stream. I would have been like 20 and 15 if I didn't do that. I'm just an idiot, right? And I agree there that, you know, I got to control myself at the end of my streams and I'll be like, I just want one more good match. It's a stupid mentality, especially when I've been playing a lengthy amount of time. I'm already beat and I'm going to play worse. So I shouldn't be doing that. So anyway, that was Street Fighter yesterday. All right. Then we went to Stardew Valley. Now, here's the deal about Stardew Valley. I like the game a lot and I feel like it really fits the perfect spot as a late night chill stream. It's got a lot of relaxing tones. There's nothing crazy going on. Yes, there's combat, but there's also mining and fishing and farming and crafting and interaction with townspeople, and there's missions to do. And because there's nice music and everything going on, it's an ample opportunity for us to have a relaxing stream where we talk with each other and hang out. So because of that, okay, yeah, I would absolutely enjoy keeping this game in the rotation, all right? But I've seen something happen in the last month. You know, now we're 20 hours into Stardew Valley, and you start to see things start to kind of fall off, meaning, yeah, we're having a little bit less of attendance. Not that we had great attendance on Stardew to begin with. We only had around 200 people every time I played it. But the oddest thing, you know, when I started playing Stardew Valley, it was literally the most supported stream that I was doing at the time. A month ago, people were stoked to see me play this game because they were like, oh, this is a game that we've played for a long time. You never really played it besides 7 years ago. It's cool to see you bring it into your rotation and give it a shot and you know, try out all the mechanics. And we really enjoy kind of giving you tutorage on that while you're playing and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, it's perfect kind of game for us to have that opportunity to interact and talk not only about the game, but other topics as well, right? But what happened is it went from being the most supported stream I've done to just an okay stream, which I'm still okay with, to last night, doing poorly. Again, didn't hit the tier 1 tips goal, not even close. Got a couple super chats, and thanks to those who did super chat, I do appreciate that. No memberships whatsoever. And, you know, you're like, well, what happened here, right? I think what happened is there was initial interest, but then after a month it falls off, right? So I was keeping this in the rotation as 2+ times a week. And a lot of people said when I first started playing it a month ago, if it's really bringing in this much revenue for you, why don't you play it more? And I said, because I don't want to milk my audience. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to play this thing over and over and take advantage of it. I want to have it as part of my balanced schedule, right? So, you know, last night, after seeing how poorly it did, I asked everyone what's going on. And basically, I just get a lot of feedback saying, well, the game's boring. And I'm like, yeah, but the game hasn't changed in the last month. It's the same game. It's the same gameplay. In fact, it's better gameplay because we're unlocking more and more stuff. Right now, I have a chicken coop. We're about to look into getting a barn and other animals and do other things. So the game's actually getting more complex and interesting. So why is it falling off? Right? Again, I think what it is, there was just initial interest. And the initial interest is kind of worn out now. And now people are like, well, maybe on to something else. Right? Although, it's funny, because when I said that last night, people were like, no, don't get rid of Stardew. Don't get rid of Stardew. Like, all right, well, I don't want to get rid of Stardew. I like it. But I do need people to support the content I'm putting out. It can't just be me here playing it for myself, right? If that were the case, you'd see me playing Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster. You'd see me be playing Lost Odyssey. I'd be going to play other kind of things that I like that I know no one ever really cares about, right? So anyway, yeah, yesterday was a day where Street Fighter was frustrating, and I don't know what to do to fix it, but I need feedback on what to do. And Stardew was fine. The stream was fine. But basically, the support fell off, and I don't know what to do about that either. Again, content hasn't changed. I haven't changed, but the support did. So what happened? I don't know. But here's the thing. I would much rather talk about it like this so we can tackle it and figure it out rather than just make a sweeping decision. Like, I could have easily just said yesterday, all right, guys, Street Fighter's on night streams from now on, and Stardew's canceled. And give you no explanation why. You'd have no idea what's going on. Oh, well, I could just do that. I could, but I don't want to do that. I'd rather be open with the audience about what's going on and let you know what's changing and why. Here's what's going on. Here's why it might change. I'm giving you the heads up, okay? So just so you know, Stardew's not being canceled. I'm going to play it again Monday night, but I'm curious to see how it goes. If we have a second stream in a row where it's very slow support, I'm probably only going to be playing it once a week moving forward, which means it's going to have very slow progress, but there's not much that I can do about that. Okay? I can't make... By the way, here's another sock account, so let's just get rid of that one too. You might notice a bunch of people in chat with weird names. Yeah, it's the same person who's come in here with like 20 sock accounts again over the last week, and they think that they're stupid, they're smart, and I'm stupid, but I know who they are, so when I see it, I'm just going to ban it. Anyway. So, let's get some answers going. Let's get some feedback. I want to know. Is Stardew played out? Should we drop it? Or should I play Stardew less? Or do you think it was just a one-off stream like that, not a big deal? By the way, just for the record, no, I wasn't expecting that level of support to continue for Stardew forever. I mean, it was nuts. I was getting tier 2 tips goals and tier wars and all kinds of stuff going on. I'm not expecting that to continue. But I at least need it to be a decent stream. I can't have it be my lowest, least performing stream all week long consistently. You see? So, let's see how it goes on Monday and then go from there. But I'd like feedback before Monday on what's going on with that. As of Street Fighter, I kind of get it. Like, I know what's happening. Yeah, the meta here is boring because too many people just do the same thing. And the ranked play is getting repetitive. Tonight we're doing something different with Street Fighter. So hopefully you guys like that. And maybe you'll come by and hang out and support that effort to do something different tonight. Right? So, let's see. Let's see what happens tonight and go from there. Okay? Fair enough? Alright. So, I need feedback. Please share it. Let me know what you think. Because things are probably a-changing anyway with new games and stuff popping up. But I'd like to hear your feedback on all of it. Fair enough? Okay. Now, I have a big announcement regarding DSP Throwback I think you guys are going to like. As of yesterday, YouTube launched site-wide its new AI-powered music removal tool. What that means is that if you have any video you upload to YouTube and YouTube identifies that video as having copywritten or licensed music in it, and then Content ID flags your video and says, oh, you will make no revenue on this video, or this video will be blocked because it has this music in it. This new tool is supposed to remove that music entirely, but leave the rest of the video intact, meaning it won't mute a segment, it will actually cut the song out. So if you're driving around in a car, the radio on in a video game, and it plays a rap song from the 1980s that's licensed, and all of a sudden YouTube says, oops, red flag, it'll just remove the song. You'll still hear the commentary of the character driving the car. You'll still hear all the atmospheric effects. You'll still hear me commenting over it. You just won't hear the music. The song will be muted. Okay? Now, how does it work? My editor tested it, and for the couple videos that the editor tested it with, said it worked really well. Like, actually better than the software that they had been using to scrub the videos for the DSP Throwback channel. For those who don't know, I've done a full playthrough of my original Fallout 3 run, and we're currently in the midst and home stretch of LA Noir. Both of those games have licensed music, and we've avoided the music issues by using third-party software to scrub and remove the music. But what happened is it essentially garbled a lot of the audio. Like if you watch the Fallout 3 playthrough, you can hear me talk, but in the background you hear like wom 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 wom. What the hell is that? That's the game's soundtrack being edited so that it doesn't get claimed on YouTube. So it sounds very weird. Okay? So this AI is actually supposed to just remove the music, and you won't hear the whoa, 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 and it won't distort the other audio. The other audio should still sound genuine. So now, with that being said, this is going to open up a whole new opportunity for me to look back over the years at classic playthroughs that I had out there that sadly were destroyed over time. The ones that notably jumped to mind for me, like at the forefront of my mind, is the original GTA trilogy playthroughs that I did over the summer of 2012. Let me tell you, that summer of 2012, I'll probably never get that momentum back. That was a crazy time. I remember sitting in my condo in Connecticut, sweating my balls off because it was a very hot summer. My one air conditioner wasn't nearly good enough to cool my condo. And I was sitting there, and you guys said, you should play the GTA trilogy of games because you've never played them before. You've only played GTA 4. And I said, all right, that sounds like a plan. How can I get them? I said, well, you can play them on PlayStation 2, you know. So I did. I had my PS2, the actual console, hooked up to my HD TV. What a bad idea. Because, my God, there was so much input delay trying to play those games on an HD TV from an analog console. And it was the camera pointed at the TV. You know, back then, those were the golden days of YouTube. Anything went. You could have music. You could do whatever you wanted. YouTube didn't give a shit. So I had full soundtracks blaring during these playthroughs, all the licensed music going on, both GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, so all having music from the representative time periods that they're supposed to represent, right? Here I am, trying to do things like flight school, trying to do some of the toughest driving missions and stuff with the super delayed controls. I'm failing. I'm raging. Those playthroughs did so well. That, I'm not kidding, like that summer alone, I made so much money. It was absolutely insane. Just because I played the 3 GTA games back to back. Now, admittedly, I probably shouldn't have done it like that because I was so burned out that I didn't really fully appreciate San Andreas when I was playing it. By the end, I was so beat on these games. I was like, I just want to get it done. I definitely should have like split it up over the year, but instead I just crammed them all in for that summer, right? But here's what happened. The playthroughs did incredibly well that summer. I made tons of money. And then 2013 happened. And 2013, for those who don't know, was the year when YouTube launched Content ID because they had been sued by the music industry. The music industry had hit them with such a large lawsuit, basically stating, listen, all of our music is going live on your site. People are no longer buying our music. They're just going to YouTube to listen to it for free. This is not allowable. You need to have a system in place to stop it. And that's where the Content ID system came into play. What this system did when it launched in late 2013 is it just scanned everyone's videos automatically. And over your big body of work, if it found videos that had licensed music identify, it would do one of two things. It would either say, content ID established, you don't own your video anymore, someone else does, you've lost all revenue on it from now on. Meaning, let's say you did a video that was an hour long, a big edited review, but it had music in it. Guess what? You made no money on that video forever. You're just done. Wow. Or, and this, I feel like this is even worse, it would just block your video. It would either mute it so there's no audio at all, or it would block it. So basically, no one could watch your video. So, no exaggeration, overnight, at the end of 2013, my playthroughs of Grand Theft Auto, half of them got destroyed. And what I mean by that is you'd be watching it, and all of a sudden, this part's not available. What do you mean it's not available? Oh, there's licensed song in it, blocked. What? So now people trying to watch the classic GTA cannot watch it. I did eventually try to do some of the scrubbing. I tried to mute some of the audio, but people are like, yeah, it ends up being unwatchable. Imagine you're watching an ongoing TV show, and the TV show has like 40 episodes, but around episode 10, episode 11 and 12 are missing. Then 13 comes back, and then all of a sudden 18 is missing, and then 22 is missing, and then 35 is missing. It would drive you insane. You'd be like, I can't watch it. I don't know what happened, what I missed in those missing episodes, and they're just not available, blocked. Wow. So essentially, with these new changes to YouTube, and the fact that we are looking for a new remastered playthrough for DSP Throwback after LA Noir concludes in a couple of weeks, all right, here's what we determined, okay? I think I want to do one of the original 3 GTA playthroughs. Now, which one? That's what we have to figure out. Do we want to do GTA 3? Do we want to do Vice City? Or do we want to do San Andreas? Each game has a case, right? GTA 3 is the first one. So why wouldn't you just do them in order? Well, Vice City is amazing because it's the 1980s vibe, and it's got some of the coolest missions, and it's got, you know, some of the best characters, Tommy Vercetti, right? And also, out of the original trilogy, that's the one I enjoyed the most. But what about San Andreas? That's the more modern one. That's got the more 90s vibes that a lot of people like more. It's LA. A lot of people like that setting more. It's got zany antics and silly gameplay that I took advantage of, and it's got the infamous Flight School. For those who don't know, when I tried to do Flight School in GTA San Andreas, because of the input delay, it was the hardest thing to do in almost the entire trilogy. So it drove me nuts. That was some of the most rage-fueled stuff you've ever seen me do in a video game was Flight School in GTA San Andreas. So 3 of those playthroughs, those are epic, legendary, historic playthroughs in my history from 12 years ago. And the question is, which would you want to see? We've got to figure this out within about the next week. Once we figure that out, then what my editors will do is they will take the videos, they will combine them into 30-minute segments, they will upscale them to true HD instead of the fuzzy camera footage that I used. They will do 60 frames per second, which would be amazing because they're originally in 30 or less. 30-minute parts that now have proper titles so you know what's in them. Thumbnails, right? And probably the biggest improvement, once those videos are created and uploaded to YouTube, we will use YouTube's AI to scrub them of the licensed music to avoid copyright. Now, there may be situations where we upload the video and we don't need it, so we'll just leave it. If there's music in it and it's not content ID, then we don't need to change it, right? But there may be situations where we upload, it's like, oh, blocked and whatever. We'll use the AI to remove the music, and so the playthrough essentially will be in its best form. You'll be able to watch it all. Yes, the music will be missing in certain cases when YouTube is being testy with content ID, but it's better to be able to watch it without the music than not at all, which is the case now. Like, you literally cannot watch those original playthroughs without missing parts or muted parts because of that issue on YouTube, you know? And the funny part is, after a while, YouTube, I just don't know it. For example, even when I replayed the supposed Ultimate Trilogy Edition, which came out, what, 2-3 years ago? Remember that? Even that's missing parts. Yeah, even that's missing parts that YouTube didn't like the music or whatever. Do I know that? No. Someone will tell me now, are you aware that this part's missing? No. YouTube doesn't notify me. They just remove the video. So, years later, videos just disappear from my channel, and I don't know. And I don't know how to fix it, or I'm not aware of it. You know? So it sucks. It really does suck that those things just disappear. Like that without any kind of, knowledge of me being able to do anything to fix it. So this would be an opportunity to represent GTA to my audience in a way that's actually visible and not missing stuff, okay? So I want you to think about it. Would you prefer GTA 3, Vice City, or San Andreas? I'd like to get opinions. Obviously, let me know on live streams. Leave comments on this video. Contact me otherwise. I'd love to hear your opinions on this, okay? And within about a week, we'll determine what makes sense. And then I'm going to try to locate the video files. I have all the hard drives, so I'll find them. And, you know, like I said, once LA Noir is done, which we're getting to right now. Jasper, stop that. You're not going to play with that wire. No, you're not going to play with this wire. Nah. So once LA Noir is done within about a week or two, because I believe we got the arson desk, and I think we go back to like either homicide or whatever, and then it ends. So we're like near the end of the game right now. I think there's only about enough videos left for about another week to week and a half. So once that concludes, we'll probably have on one side the missing content, meaning the end of Dante's Inferno, the Suicide Kings online co-op in Red Dead 1, missing content that maybe was only exclusively uploaded to Blip TV at one point, but I'll get it and re-upload it maybe here, as well as some travel vlogs, other missing content. That kind of stuff's gonna start going and continuing over the summer, okay? But on the other hand, the ongoing playthrough we'll have is Grand Theft Auto, one of them. And then I think the next big project we should do, after we finish with that stuff, all right, would likely be Assassin's Creed 2. Because how cool would it be to see my original Assassin's Creed 2 playthrough restored and upgraded and remastered right before Assassin's Creed Shadows comes out, right? And also keep in mind, the next thing for the fall, so probably September, October, once we get through the summertime stuff, we're going to be doing Red Dead Redemption 1 Undead Nightmare. The playthrough that was the what-if horror scenario that came out on Halloween that year. So that's what we're going to do next there. So we've got a lot of cool stuff going on DSP Throwback now over the next few months, all right? All we need to do is figure out what is the GTA game that I should restore first. Because I'm sure maybe eventually we'll get to all of them over time. But for now, what's the one that we should do now? That's what I need to know, okay? So please give me your opinions on that. Fair enough? All right. Guess what, guys? It's time for everyone's favorite segment. And let me tell you, today on DSP News, we got some interesting stories to cover. You ready for this? I'm very interested in this news. First off, it is official. The Halo television series on Paramount Plus has been canceled after only 2 seasons. If you didn't see this coming, I don't know what rock you live under. The Halo TV series literally delves so far away from the source material of Halo that I can't imagine anyone who is actually a fan of Halo liking this show. Although apparently the show did have an audience, it just wasn't Halo fans. Like, it had an audience as a drama, but really no one cared for it as an action show or as anything Halo related. I mean, was it not true that in the first season, Master Chief took off his helmet and got laid? You know, that kind of stuff that happens in Halo all the time, right? Right on par with the kind of tone and content that you would expect from the Halo franchise. So, with that being said, are you shocked? But the funny part about it was, now what they're saying is the showrunners are so upset that the show has been canceled that they now want to try to fish it around other networks. They want to see if Max will pick it up or Netflix will pick it up. They're really so strongly behind the show that they really feel that some network should want this show. I mean, it didn't work on Paramount Plus, and who the hell has Paramount Plus, right? So I don't know why a bigger network would want to pick it up when it was a failure on a small scale. Weird part about that is critics loved it. Critics said it was good and everything. Yeah, well, then why did they cancel it after 2 seasons, bro? Right? Because it wasn't good. These critics, they don't actually look for quality of what people want to watch. They look for these like checklist of weirdo criteria that they think are good, you know, instead of, is it actually entertaining? Is it accurate to the source material? Is it, you know, entertaining or fun to watch, you know? So, yeah, pretty funny. I don't know what's going to happen here, if anyone else will pick it up or not. But like I said, most people who watched it who are Halo fans hated the show and said it's nothing like Halo. What a waste of time, right? So I guess we'll see. Exactly, just like critics say the Acolyte Star Wars show is good. Right. Anyway, I guess we'll see what happens with that. That was story number 1. Story number 2. This morning, in the middle of the morning, early morning, all of a sudden, worldwide, computers running on Windows 11 started getting a blue screen of death, saying, oh, restart. And so people would restart, and then it would just boot to another blue screen of death, and go into an endless boot loop. Now, this pretty much affected most business-side computers and clients. Why? Because most business computers force daily updates for Windows updates and things like that, so that they're always up to date. So if you have a banking system, airports and air traffic control, that ICUs, hospitals, anything that runs on Windows essentially always tries to get the new updates right away so that they're up to speed and they're not going to be vulnerable and stuff like that. But in this case, this update that was pushed out by a CrowdStrike security firm, all right, literally bricks your PC. And the world was affected. Just listen to this, okay? Some known issues that were affected. Sky News, the top UK news channel, went completely down and was unable to broadcast. Airports were not functioning properly. Most airport flights were completely and utterly canceled. People in Germany, Japan, India, the US, and more had their infrastructure greatly affected. United Flights, Delta Airlines, and most airlines, again, are down. AWS and Azure are down. Vodafone in the UK faced critical issues. Emergency services, in a lot of cases, had to basically go to like their backup systems, bare bones, to try to keep things running because the PCs didn't work. Sydney, Australia's metro is affected, so people couldn't get around in Sydney, Australia because everything broke. So what happened? Apparently, this Cloudflare is it's a security system. It's supposed to stop hacking and stuff. So they had some kind of an update they pushed onto all Windows. And again, if you're a regular consumer like you and me, we probably just don't have every single update auto load, right? So you probably didn't load the update this morning if you have a Windows 11 device or PC, so you're fine. But anyone who did it right away on the business end, because they're just used to auto loading this stuff, literally blue screened their computer and couldn't get it to stop. By the way, it's not Cloudflare, it's CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is the name of the company. I had it wrong. I was thinking, isn't there one called like Cloudflare or something like that? So it's CrowdStrike. That's the name of the company. To make matters even worse, the CEO of CrowdStrike made a social media post basically stating, so we've identified the problem, we're rushing to try to fix it, and anyone who needs help, we're diverting you to our IT help desk or whatever. That's it. He literally didn't apologize, didn't show any empathy or sympathy for the mistake, didn't actually give an ETA on when things would get better. Literally just made a general factual statement that helps absolutely nothing. So immediately everyone's like, you might as well have not said anything. You're an asshole. Your company is irresponsible. They pushed out an update that doesn't work, wasn't ready. You didn't test it properly. And you bricked half the world with this update. So what ended up happening was a lot of people started just trying to find their own workarounds and started putting them up on the internet, on social media, and stuff. Do this, it'll uninstall it and work around it. And so some people were slowly trying to do this to fix it, but it's unclear what the actual worldwide impact will be on this big snafu, and if the company will be found legally liable. Let's be honest, they should be. You shouldn't be pushing out an update that bricks half the world's computers. It's completely inept, right? Anyway, that's almost the last piece of news, but the last piece of news is incredibly fascinating and interesting. All right? Yesterday, the Federal Trade Commission, which was all up Microsoft's butt the entire time Microsoft was trying to buy Activision Blizzard and do this merger, saying they think it's going to be a monopoly, it's bad for the industry, and all of that, is now basically filing with the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. The FTC is claiming the following. Listen to this. As you know, Microsoft just announced they are changing all of their Game Pass offerings. They are going away with the old base Game Pass console offering, whatever it was. It's gone. It's going to be phased out. There's going to be a new one offered for more money that has less, meaning no day one free games. The only way you can get day one free games is to have Game Pass Ultimate, which is raising its price. All right? So the FTC is alleging the following. All right? The new Xbox Game Pass standard tier, which is the new one that's more expensive but offers less, is a degraded product. Microsoft is exercising market power post-merger, which they outright stated they would not do as a term of them actually having the merger with Activision Blizzard. Allow me to explain. So basically, when Microsoft was going to buy Activision Blizzard, many regulatory agencies around the world said, whoa, 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 tap the brakes. We want to be sure that Microsoft isn't becoming so powerful now in the gaming industry that they control the market and can do whatever they want. There has to be some regulation, some fairness, some competition. And if they buy Activision Blizzard, they may end up being so big that they now rip off the consumer. And that's not what we want to happen. So there was a lot of concerns about this. And during the process of Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, Microsoft assured the court system, oh no, because we're buying Activision Blizzard, don't worry, this isn't going to change things. In fact, it's the opposite. This will benefit the consumer, and here's why. We promise you that once this merger goes through, Call of Duty will now be part of the Xbox Game Pass library, and people will now be able to get it on Game Pass without buying it. So they just have our subscription and they'll get it. They won't have to spend the $70. So essentially, Microsoft pushed this as a way to say, this is a positive. People are going to get something for free as a result of the merger. Therefore, please let the merger through. What you're saying about us kind of changing the market for our personal benefit is not true. Okay? So the merger went through. But now, what Microsoft has done is said, oh, well, if we're going to be offering Call of Duty to you as part of Game Pass for free, we'll just change all of Game Pass. We'll make it that people who pay the cheaper package can't get Call of Duty. We've locked them out. You have to get the more expensive version to get it. Oh, by the way, we raised the price of the more expensive version. So now essentially the price raising pays for the fact that we're giving you the game for free. So, yeah, Microsoft said one thing in their filings for the merger. And now that it went through, they actually have reneged. They have lied. They lied to the court system of what they were going to do. And they actually have violated the law. It actually seems pretty black and white. So the FTC is saying, no, we're appealing now this decision to let the merger go through because they have basically tried to fool everyone. It's a bait and switch. Let the merger go through, but then they're going to raise prices to pay for the thing they claimed they were going to give for free, which actually is, not only is it morally reprehensible, it might actually be illegal, which is what they're trying to prove here. Okay? So, yeah, what could happen? I don't think they would undo the merger, but if they're found in violation of what they claimed during the merger process, they could be fined a ridiculous amount of money. They could be forced to undo the changes that they claim they're going to do to Game Pass. They could be forced to do a lot of different things because you can't just do that. You can't just say one thing and do another in the U.S. court system. So they might be in really big trouble right now because they essentially lied. Now, just think about this. Why would you do that? Why would you think that you could get away with it? You outright said in filings during the process you would do this one thing, and now you're going back on it months later. Did you think the FTC would forget? Oh, we'll just let it. Well, we forgot all about it, right? What are you talking about? Like what? And again, you have to ask yourself, who these people who are in charge at Microsoft, who I keep saying, the Phil Spencers, the Matt Booties, are they really qualified to be doing the stuff that they're doing at this point? Like, how dumb can you be to not know that you're going to get called out on this? right? I mean, we all, when we saw these price structure changes changing, even I said, I don't know if I'm going to keep Game Pass Ultimate for much longer because I need to have a bunch of games on it. Or today we're playing Kunimitsu. Great. Kunitsu-Gami, excuse me. We're playing Kunitsu-Gami, so I got a full game on there. That's great. But if I have a series of months where I'm not getting anything out of it, I may eventually cancel it. Why would I keep it for $20 a month if I'm not getting anything out of it? And they keep raising the price, right? So, I hate to say it, I don't know who these people think they are in these positions of power. What made you think it was a good idea to literally go back on what you promised the court during your merger process? You just be fine. No one would call you out for it. No one would notice. We've all moved on to other things, right? Huh? I'm at a loss. Like, what made them think that they weren't going to be caught red-handed? You know? And that's essentially what the FTC is saying right here. Microsoft is raising the price for its Game Pass Ultimate product from $16.99 to $19.99, a 17% year-over-year increase. And Microsoft is discontinuing the $10.99 a month console Game Pass product. Users of the product must pay 81% more to now switch to Game Pass Ultimate to get the free games that they were already promised. For consumers not willing to pay that, Microsoft is introducing a degraded product, Game Pass Standard, for $14.99 a month. This product still costs 36% more than console Game Pass, but it withholds day one releases. Product degradation, which is known as removing the most valuable games from Microsoft's new service, combined with price increases for existing users, is exactly the sort of consumer harm from the merger the FTC alleged. So FTC says this would be consumer harm if you do the merger. Microsoft says, no, it won't. We're giving everyone Call of Duty for free. And then they do the merger, and they immediately hike prices on everything and lay off half their workforce. So, yeah. This is, it's not going to stand. FTC has they have the power to go to the appeals court and actually have some big, major legal stuff happen here. So, I guess we'll see what happens with this story. But as of now, it ain't good for Microsoft. It's looking like, again, like they got caught with a kid with their hand caught in the cookie jar. Like, oops, I knew I wasn't supposed to do that, but I thought no one would be looking because we waited a few months. No. Actually, not. No. Someone was right there watching you the whole time. Okay. All right, guys. So that's game news for today. Whoa, that is not what I wanted to click. I hope that you enjoyed the segment. Okay, so now would be the time of the show where I do shout-outs, and then we get to Q&A, but we have no contributions whatsoever yet. So, I guess we'll open up the Q&A, and if anyone contributes in any way, we'll do a shout-out. You guys know the deal for my streams, that I try to hit $50 in tips every stream. Outside of that, anything else is greatly appreciated. Super chats, super stickers, memberships, gifted memberships. Today's a new release. We're going to be trying Kunitsu-Gami together to see if it's any good. Hopefully it is, right? I hope so. And if it ends up being something we like, then hopefully you'll stick around and we'll try to get it into the schedule for future streams. But it's an experiment for all of us, I think, right? Like, we don't know what this game is going to be. We don't know what to expect. Some people are saying it's like a tower defense on steroids with really good graphics. I'm like, okay, I guess we'll see together firsthand. Okay? All right. So, what do you guys want to talk about today? Is there anything I've forgotten? Any topics going on that I'm not aware of? Breaking news going on anywhere? What do you think? Let's see here. Midnight Stargate says, do you like taking flights yourself? Do you have flyer's anxiety? No, not really. Like, I'll be honest with you. At first, the first few times that I did fly, by myself, I absolutely, positively was nervous. But previously, I had flown with friends and family. Like, I went with family members to, like, Florida and California for vacations when I was younger, like my early teens. And then, as I got older, I started traveling for Street Fighter, and I usually would travel with friends. But then I started traveling by myself to go to EVO and other tournaments. And at first, you get a little nervous, but basically, once you've been on enough flights, you basically just get used to them. You know there's going to be some turbulence. You know what it feels like to take off and land. And actually, it actually starts to become fun, honestly, for me. Like, I've been on so many flights now that I actually kind of get it. And I know what to expect. And so it actually isn't, like, scary anymore. It's actually kind of fun. I like the liftoff process. You get to see, you lift off the ground, you go into the sky, how cool it looks, and all that. And that's the weird part is I am afraid of heights, but not on a plane. For whatever reason, on the plane, I'm just not afraid at all. But other places, I think what it is it's the fear of falling. And when you're on a plane, you know it's actually more safe than like driving in a car. So there's really like no fear. Like I never really had that fear. Oh no, the plane's gonna crash or anything, right? So I'm not afraid. But I'd be more afraid just standing on an edge, like you're in a mall, you're in a second floor, you're at a railing, you can look down at the bottom floor. I actually start to get nervous. My palms start to sweat. I start to get vertigo. So it's weird. I'll get it there. So, yeah. But no, I basically, when I started traveling for myself for Street Fighter, no, I didn't really get nervous. I actually pretty much got used to it. And, first couple times that flights got delayed and canceled and I had annoying layovers and stuff, and you just kind of hang out at the airport and kill time reading books, but, getting some food. You just get used to it, being a traveler, Now, the thing is, I haven't lived that lifestyle in a long time. We're talking years around 2005 through 2007. I lived that lifestyle for like 2 straight years where I was constantly traveling to play Street Fighter and stuff like that. And then, I flew around a few more times to go to conventions and the like, but I haven't really traveled via plane, consistently in a long time. Last time was 2019 when I went to Connecticut to visit my parents and get married. I don't know what it's like now. It very well could be very different, a different experience, right? But back then, no. I didn't really have fear of it. After that first time going alone, a little bit, and then after that, I just kind of got used to it. So, what's going on, Game Boy? How you doing? No, I've never had any scary Pitbull encounters. In fact, excuse me. In fact, I had a really good Pitbull experience where I had a friend who had a Pitbull. And when I used to go over his house, I used to play with it. It was like the sweetest dog ever. I just think that Pitbulls sadly get a bad rep because there are people who literally don't take care of them or mistreat them to make them vicious animals because that's what they're going for. They want, oh, I'm so hard because I have a vicious dog or whatever. And that's terrible. In reality, pit bulls can be just as loving and sweet of a pet as any other dog. Do I feel overall games are getting worse? Yes, I do. But that's a symptom of there just being more, right? There used to not be as many games. So therefore, the games that came out usually were a little bit on the better side. But now today you get so many similar games, copycat games, shovelware games, or games that are rushed out to make a buck rather than to be artistic and be good and stand out among the crowd as a unique experience, that you end up feeling overall in general that games aren't as good as they used to be. That's just a symptom of the industry, right? Is Jasper feeling better? Oh, funny you asked that. I'm not kidding you. Again this morning. So same situation as yesterday. Remember yesterday? So my wife and I are doing, like, our schedule's all different now. So Jasper's not used to that. And so my wife was getting ready for work. I was showering. Jasper decided to yak up a giant hairball right in the middle of the bed. So all day yesterday on stream, I was washing sheets, right? Well, today, again, I'm in the shower. My wife is getting ready for work. And I go to look, and he has thrown up again, this time on the carpet. Now, it wasn't nearly as bad as yesterday. It was like a small amount, not a ginormous mess. It was a little amount. But I was like, dude, he's doing it again. And what it is, I tell you exactly what it is now. It's misbehavior because he's not happy that the routine is changing. You understand? And this is why I tell you guys, you're like, would you get another pet? Would you do this? No. He is a cat set in his ways. He likes things how they are. He wants it to continue. So if there's a variable that's changing things up, it actually causes him annoyance and stress. So now he's going to act out as a result of that. So that's what he's not throwing up cat food or anything. It's just, it's done on purpose. You see? So yeah. Eventually, I think he'll be all right. Eventually, he's going to get used to a new schedule in the mornings. But for now, he's upset of all this activity and the schedule and times changing and everything. And, you know, that's what's going on. Okay. Yeah, it's a behavioral thing, and he's going to have to get used to it. It's not the first time. There's been other times that things have changed too, and it's exactly the same thing where he doesn't like it. He's upset. Like right now, he's coming in and out of the office. He doesn't know what to do. He's not used to this. Usually, all right, either Kat would be home to spend time with him, or I'd be available, or you know what I mean? Now it's weird because it's like, oh, so now during the day, Phil is streaming, but he can't just spend time with me, and Kat's not home right now, so he's all upset. You know? Yeah, he'll adjust. He just like anything, he'll adjust. It's just he gets a little antsy about it. You know, right now he's walking all around the house. He doesn't know what to do. Right now, he's doing what he did yesterday. He's on the ottoman in the hallway. He's cleaning. He's probably going to lay down there and relax as I play games. I'm fine. That was nice yesterday when I was playing Street Fighter. He just sat right there in the ottoman. He could hear me because the door's open right there. He could hear me. So he feels like he's part of the activity, but he gets to rest there and not be, you know, it's hard for him to lay down on the floor in here because there's so many wires. And the wires are tempting for him, obviously. He wants to chew them, which he can't do. So, yeah, for him to go into the hallway or whatever, that's fine. And then he can still hear me and feel like he's a part of it. Like I said, my voice booms through this house when I am streaming. When this door is open, my voice goes right to the hallway and echoes down the hallway all the way. And you can sit in the living room and it sounds like I'm sitting next to you talking when this door is open. By the way, I'm just banning more and more sock accounts from the same person, just so everybody knows. If you notice there's accounts disappearing, it's just more sock accounts. I'm taking care of them. Okay. All right. What else you guys want to talk about today? Please tag me in the chat. Have I ever had red salmon? I don't know. I don't know the color of the salmon I'm eating on the outside. I only know the color on the inside. It's orange. No, I did not compose the Level 1 podcast theme song. The future of Street Fighter 6, I don't know. It's uncertain. Like I said, with the amount of time that I've invested in Street Fighter 6, I'm not dropping it. But it very well may be that I play it on night streams only moving forward. If it's not working as a day stream, if we're getting less attendance, less support, and people are complaining it's boring because it's the same characters over and over, which I agree, then maybe we do it back to night streams and see how that works. Or, you know, like I said, if we get the announcement, all right, if we get the announcement of this MVC collection, then I would love to play that. If it comes out this week, I'm playing it. And then that could be variety, so it's not just Street Fighter 6 anymore. You know what I mean? This is hilarious. The reason Southwest Airlines was not affected by today's global outage is because they run on an outdated system that doesn't have Windows 11. So they're fine. While all the other airlines were down, Southwest is fine because they stayed outdated. That's just great. Wow. Someone said that NetherRealm just laid off employees. That's what I was looking for, but I don't see it. It could be that it's true, but the other news is so outshining that news that no one can find anything about it. You know what's really stupid and sad about that? It's Evo weekend. So you're laying off your employees of a major fighting game company during the weekend when your game should be featured. But let's be honest. We already said Mortal Kombat 1 has almost no entries at Evo. Like, it's one of the lowest registered games. So maybe that makes sense then. Maybe it makes sense to have the layoffs now. I don't know. I don't see any news about it right now. I'll look later. For the next Feasting with the King, can I get Squid Ink pasta? I'm fairly certain there would probably not be any restaurants around here that would serve Squid Ink pasta. Just being honest, I don't think so. Ooh. If I could, what 3 things would I change about Street Fighter 6? I wouldn't change 3 things. I would change 1. It's this simple. Risk reward needs to be adjusted for the cast so that it's roughly equal. Okay? You shouldn't have an entire top tier of characters where almost everything they do is perfectly safe, yet it's all insanely high reward, while you have a mid to low tier that have to all take dramatic risks in order to try to get hits in, but then if they miss, they all get punished dramatically. Like, no exaggeration, with Dalsim, literally every time I press standing roundhouse with Dalsim, I'm taking a giant risk. Now, it's a great opener, and if it hits, you could drive rush, you could throw a fireball, you could teleport, you could do a million things. But there's a big risk, right? Because if they jump, or if they do a counter hit under it, I mean, you're done. You're screwed. They get a giant combo on you. Now, compare that with, like, one of the top tiers, like fucking Luke, or Cammy, or Ken, or Akuma, who have all these normals that are insanely safe. So even if they throw it out there and they whiff, they're fine. If they connect, they get a giant combo. Or more times than not, they're not even timing it. They're just throwing it out there, and it just, by complete chance, counter hits you, and then you get a giant combo too, right? But there's no risk to it. They need to balance that. There should be balanced gameplay in the game, so it's not, oh, the upper tier is just safe mode characters who just play this easy mode pattern, while everyone else has to bust their ass to just do stuff because it's all risky for them. That's just dumb. You know, it really is. It's just dumb, because you would think, oh, well, the high risk characters should get the most reward. They don't. The high risk characters have to risk the most to get the same rewards as the easy mode characters. That's the problem. If there was a character like, he's very tough to play, but man, if you play him perfectly, you dominate. Great. Like if Dalsim were the best character in Street Fighter 6, but God, he was the hardest character to play, then it would be balanced and fine. But it's not. The easiest characters to play are actually the ones that win all the tournaments. That's not good. That's a bad sign. That means your game is not balanced properly. That's the one thing I would change about it. Kermit the Third did a super chat saying, man, lucky you're on Windows 8. You called it, boss. Yeah, I'm actually wondering if my mini PC tried to update Windows 11 today and blue screen. It might have. Luckily, I'm not using it today. And by the way, Kermit the Third, thank you for the first contribution of the day. Like, literally, you are the first person to contribute in any way to my stream, and I appreciate that. What is my most played song? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't use CrowdStrike security either. That would probably be like a corporate level thing. It's not what a common user would use, right? Is it still hot here? Oh, yes, it's still hot here. It's still in the 80s. We still have, I believe, 3 more days. Yes, today 85, tomorrow 88, Sunday 82, then finally starting on Monday, we're back to the 70 degrees. For the first time in over 2.5 weeks, we will finally have reasonable weather. So yeah, it's been insanely hot here and continues for the next 3 days. How do I tend to cool off my body after sitting in a hot office streaming? All you gotta do is like walk through the house, and then, like I said, all the air conditioning on this end is blowing through the hall. The coolest place in the house is the bedroom, because we got the big air conditioner in the bedroom. So you gotta do is walk right in there, walk in front of that AC, lay on the bed, you're good. You're cooled down. Night Shift says I lightly push my cat off the bed when he's about to vomit. I lift him up and actually put him on the floor. Because at least if it's on the floor, I can clean it. I don't have to wash all the bedding. You know? We have the cleaner to spray the floor to get it off the carpet. There's no cleaner that will get it out of soaked sheets. You know? The problem is, he's been doing it when no one's around. My wife is in the bathroom, getting ready for the day. The door closed, putting on makeup and stuff. I'm forgetting to shower. So he does it on purpose. He's timing it that way. More sock accounts, by the way. Tons of them. Eyes Darkness, I already directly responded to what you just said. OMG, that is an absolute disgusting message. Stop that right now. All right, guys, anything else? No one's tagging me in the chat. What do you want to do? You just want to end the show? Unless you guys have more things to talk about, there's nothing to shout out. Thank you to Kermit for the one contribution of the day so far. Hopefully things will pick up with the new release starting. No, gacha games will never die because gacha games have a completely different audience than mainstream gaming. Like, on my streams, we're mainstream gaming stuff, right? But gacha games are completely different. Those are games for people who don't really care about investment of a ton of time or energy. Most of those games are easy finger tapping games, right? And then, oh, you want to keep finger tapping to advance? Well, some money to try to advance that by either doing a loot box or whatever pull it may be. I mean, I don't think they're ever going to go away because it's an addictive mentality. You'll like just doing the menial task over and over. It almost feels like what's the word for it? You get a feeling of like relaxation and pleasure just by doing something repetitive over and over. That's what the games are. So, with no real major intelligence or anything to it, and then if you get that, the chance that you'll improve and stuff like that, you know what I mean? If you spend and you pull or you do whatever. So there's a word for it though. Is it? Well, I mean, I know it's dopamine, but I think there's a word. It's not cathartic, is it? There's a word for that, and I can't remember what it is. You hope I'll return to Okami someday? Hey, as I told you guys, I like Okami. I liked the game. I was very much enjoying Okami. It was the audience telling me they didn't. The audience outright was telling me Okami is boring. We don't like this. Play something else. So that's why I dropped it. I liked Okami HD. I was having a great time with it. Like I said, it was reminiscent of Zelda and other franchises, and I thought it was very creative. keep in mind, Okami is a very similar situation to Stardew Valley. When I started playing Stardew Valley, I actually really liked it 7 years ago. But the audience was like, nah, this is kind of boring. Then, 7 years later, the audience said, hey, bring it back. We really like it. So I brought it back, and originally it had tons of support and people excited. Now here we are a month later, and it's starting to die out again. You see, but I feel like certain games, they have that, like, they get that feeling, that vibe from a small group of people that you really want to see Phil play it. They're very happy to see me if I do, but then it doesn't last, you know? I would say Bison in general has always been middle of the pack difficulty level to use in Street Fighter games. He's not the easiest to use, but he's not the hardest to use either. Like Super Turbo, he's mid tier. He's not definitely not top, but he's not awful. He's kind of middle of the pack. He has some really bad matchups, which is his problem. Like in Super Turbo, he can't get out of grappler at all. Like grapplers dominate him. He can't really do much about them. Um, but other games, it depends. Like I think original Street Fighter 4, he was one of the best, but then later on he wasn't as good. Street Fighter 5, I have no clue. I think he won Evo one year, but I don't know because I didn't pay attention to Street Fighter 5. In 6, I would say right now he's one of the strongest because of his damage output. You know, I think that may get changed in the future. They may actually nerf his damage output, which is ridiculous right now. Lost Odyssey when? I don't know. I would love to do a playthrough of Lost Odyssey someday. I keep telling you guys that's one of the ones that I've been wanting to play for ages. It just never happens. Again, it's like one of those games I know I would enjoy the hell out of, but I don't think the audience would. No one talks about it, right? What's up, Upsake? Ugh. What is a character from a previous Street Fighter you'd like to see brought to Street Fighter 6? Hakan. How do I charge the Joy-Cons? I don't use the Joy-Cons. When I use my Switch, I use the Nintendo Pro controller, or the Switch Pro controller, or a Hori third-party controller. I never use the Joy-Cons. I think I used them the first week. That was it. I think, what was it? ARMS I used them with. And then after that, I just immediately switched over to something else. Because they were not good. I'm sorry, they just weren't. They were wonky. You know, having to charge them was just annoying. I just didn't care. They just sit on the Switch. I never take them off. I'd like to play System Shock Remake. We have to see how this month goes. Like, we have to see if Kunitsu-Gami's any good. If it is, then this is going to be a playthrough I'm doing, and then we'll have a little bit less time to do other stuff, right? We got to see how long it takes me to beat Elden Ring. We're going to go back to Fallout 4, try to finish that, see how long that takes. So we have various things to do here, and see how much time we actually have uh, before we get to other stuff, right? But System Shock Remake is on my radar for sure. No, I'm not going back to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or Dragon's Dogma. I've already stated as such. Sea of Stars, I guarantee you I will go back to someday. I just don't know when yet. But I want to finish that game. Ugh. Anything else, guys? Looks like all you guys want to do is talk about drama, which you know I'm not going to talk about. It's even against the rules, so I don't know why any of you are bringing it up. Like, you think that I'm going to address it. I'm not. You're just wasting your own time. I really don't know why people love drama so much and have to fucking sit here and talk about it and try to derail the stream. Yeah, I don't know. I literally have not seen anything about this game besides, whatchamacallit, the, trailers we've seen. I haven't seen any actual gameplay, so. King, thank you for 31 months as a member. And praise the sun. I missed it somehow. Thank you, King. I don't know why I missed it. I don't know why I didn't see that. Thank you so much, King. All right, I guess we'll adjourn then. Yeah, people don't really have a lot to talk about today for whatever reason. All right, thanks, guys. Let's end the show. I hope that you'll stick around for Kunitsu-Gami. If you're watching this on demand, Kunitsu-Gami should be going live later today. I'm curious to see what the game's like. I know you're probably curious just like me. I hope you'll come by and hang out and check it out. All right, thanks. And tomorrow, obviously, I will give you all my summarized thoughts about the game. I'm sure I'll also be talking about how the lobby went tonight and all of that. It should be a good time. So thank you guys very much, and I will see you tomorrow.